Hey guys, this is Jay Calder with Jay Unboxing, here giving you a personal prediction for Alycia Baumgardner versus Christina Linardatou. And as always, this is just my take, of course. Your predictions can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all. And a little bit of fight info about this unification bout. We have Baumgardner taking on Linardatou. This will be at the MASONIC Temple in Detroit, Michigan, airing live on DAZN in the junior lightweight division, with Baumgardner's Ring Magazine World Junior Lightweight title and IBF, WBA, and WBC junior lightweight titles on the line, with Linardatou's WBO title on the line as well in the junior lightweight division. So, this is a very fun one. Of course, the women putting on compelling fights. What else is new in boxing at this point? Here, another example. We have the red-hot Baumgardner looking to avenge the only loss of her career, and it's in a unification fight. Women can't get enough of unification fights, can they? Well, good for them and for us fans as well. Since their close fight in 2018, Baumgardner has captured world gold and won a few big fights and really made a pretty big name for herself on the women's side of the sport. Linardatou has also been in some decent fights and been more or less pretty successful. Of course, is still currently a champion, but hasn't reached quite the same level of success of the opponent that she actually beat those years back. So, will she achieve it now, that success she might be looking for, by winning this return, or will Alycia get the revenge? Let's break this one down. Starting with Baumgardner. For Baumgardner to win, I think you want to keep Linardatou at a distance. The biggest issue in their first fight that I could see in terms of the highlights and the fight that I saw, in my personal opinion, was that you just couldn't sit down and set up your work if you were Baumgardner. That has to change in this encounter. You have to be able to turn her or press her back at times. Just create the space you need to land your more powerful, more telling shots. But that requires you to have to kind of sit down and force it to happen. You can't just back up all the time and hope to walk her into a shot. That can work at times once you frustrate her, maybe make her make mistakes or lunge. But initially, you have to be able to bully her a little bit. Otherwise, you're just not able to really put forth the kind of power you're looking to put forth in this contest. One way, of course, in which you can do that outside of what I mentioned is, of course, the jab. Keeping it busy. This will help. Double it up at times. Feint with it. Then lead off with that backhand, perhaps. Just things that will kind of offset what she's expecting and push her back. The more you can do that, the more success you'll have. I would also say work shots down the middle. Linardatou likes to wing her shots. Beat her to the punch by going straight down the middle. I think that's a pretty obvious thing to say. However, I would also say it doesn't have to be just the jab and the backhand. That works, of course, but also come underneath. Just make sure it's a straight shot. A solid right uppercut as Linardatou tries to step in, perhaps lunging over her lead foot, perhaps when she's too aggressive, will do wonders for you if you're Baumgardner as well. So that's certainly another shot I would expect you to exploit in this fight. And the more you can do that, it also brings her head up a bit more. She's not going to lunge in as much, and it lines up those shots, that right hand especially, upstairs once she's kind of set up for it. And you can do this all by making sure your shots are more straight and more direct to hers when she's trying to wing hers in. And I think one of the most important keys for you if you're Baumgardner in terms of just stylistically what you need to do is you need to tie her up on the inside. I've kind of alluded to this in terms of just not letting her make it such a firefight, but this is such a specific thing because I think it's something that punchers have a hard time doing because it feels like it's smothering their own work, which it might be. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure you make these tactical adjustments when you're looking to improve upon performances. You shouldn't avoid everything on the inside, and of course you can attack the body or land those uppercuts as mentioned, or just press her back. But at times, you just need to tame her. Make it hard for her to fight out. Make it hard for her to try to get things going by getting your work done, then tying her up, and then resetting. It's as simple as that. It's a simple thing to do, but it's something I think you need to. Her game is she wants to come in, make it more of a fight. You have to negate that. Land those hurtful shots, then step in, tie up, and reset. Force her to settle down as you're just getting your work in and then getting back to work soon thereafter. Now, switching over to Linardatou. For Linardatou to win, I think you want to start fast, finish strong. This is important for a few reasons. For one, you're the B-side. You can't take rounds for granted, especially in women's boxing when you only have 10 of them and they're only 2 minutes long. You have to make them count. What's more, it makes Baumgardner relive that first fight where you brought it to her. Have to do it again. Throughout the fight, you have to consistently remind her mentally of what it was like in that first encounter where, by her own admission, she claims it was a fluke, but by her own admission, it was a close fight that she ended up losing. You have to remind her of that. Baumgardner, I still feel, can tire at times. She doesn't have exactly what I would call a stamina issue necessarily, but she does seem to tire at times, and you have to exploit that by bringing it out of her by creating a faster, higher tempo that she might not want to deal with. I would also say land the sweeping left hand. It's easier said than done when you're up against a puncher trying to land hooks, especially one that has maybe faster, more, let's say, educated hands than you perhaps, but that shot could be the difference in this fight if you're Linardatou. It's a shot you throw well, and perhaps one Baumgardner might be caught with. She doesn't always move her head, especially when backing away, and if you can back her into that side and land that left hand, it's certainly a shot that can score well for you. If you press, she tries to box and move, and you jab, then move into that sweeping left, and you definitely might catch her. You can even catch her as you try to bounce in and out. The more you do that, kind of again create a bit more of a sort of hostile tempo, she might not be able to read it, and when you step in landing that left hook, especially if you double it up, I think you could have some success with it. And finally, I would say press Baumgardner straight back. If Baumgardner comes forward and steps into her shots and kind of really pushes momentum into those shots, you're in trouble. That can't happen. So you have to use a bit of movement yourself, but more specifically forward movement by pushing her back. You have to use those kind of well-timed lunging hooks, as we mentioned, in overall activity and movement to keep her back pedaling. Number one, going backwards tires fighters more anyway, but number two, it just takes off the momentum of her shots. Then, if and when she's trying to combat that and step in, you're able to meet her with hard shots of your own, creating that double impact that might perhaps give you a bit more power than otherwise. But you just can't let her have complete momentum in this fight because she'll steamroll you, especially with how much better she's gotten since your first encounter. You have to be able to press her back and really allow for you to step into power in your own right. Now, in terms of my pick here, it's a tricky one in some ways, but everything tells me Baumgardner avenges her only loss. Their first fight was close, and that was when Baumgardner was a bit more crude and still developing. Now, more polished and refined, I think she rights her wrongs. Baumgardner will jab strong, step into her shots, and press Linardatou back with her kind of bullying shots she throws. The right hand down the middle as well as an uppercut I think will play a major role, as you'll see that peppered into this fight throughout. Linardatou is tough enough to see the cards in my opinion, but it should be a lot less close than the original encounter, especially overall, as Baumgardner is landing the cleaner, more telling shots. Linardatou will have moments I believe, but just not nearly enough. Winner, Baumgardner via solid unanimous decision. Now, the betting odds seem to agree with me here. While Linardatou was the initial winner, you have Baumgardner coming in at a minus 1100, with Linardatou coming in at a plus 600. As we all have kind of noticed this year, it is the year of upsets, so certainly a Linardatou line makes a little bit of sense here, especially considering she did win their first encounter, and you never know, it just could be a styles thing Baumgardner has a hard time dealing with. It'd still be something in the small to medium size at most range if it's Linardatou, because you just don't know anything about these sorts of fights in 2023. They're all over the place. Baumgardner line, of course, doesn't have much value for me. 11-1, no thank you. In terms of the over-under, my guess is it's going to be a decision because, again, Linardatou is tough. No matter how good of a puncher Baumgardner is, it might just be a style she, like I said, kind of struggles with, so I'm guessing it's going to be around the 9.5 mark, but have not found those odds yet. When I do, I will post them in the comments section and pin them there. In any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of this recording is 20-10 with 12 exact, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts, predictions, bets, so on and so forth. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and follow me at jcalderon_JOB, and you can email me at junboxing@gmail.com. Love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to check out junboxing.com for schedule, results, betting odds, rankings, grades, all that good stuff. And as always, until next time.